When my mom remarried, I thought my world would turn upside down. She'd been a single mom since I was 4 years old, so the idea of her starting over with someone else seemed foreign and scary. What if he didn't like me? What if he tried to replace my dad in my life? All these thoughts raced through my head, twisting in my gut. And then there was the one thing everyone seemed to forget. My mom wasn't the only one getting a new family member. I was too, a new brother. I was going to have a stepbrother. But when I actually met him, my concerns vanished like smoke in the wind. He was tall, quiet, with the kind of eyes that seemed to look right through me. We introduced ourselves awkwardly, exchanging pleasantries that felt more like a job interview than a meeting between siblings. I was nervous. Not only did I have to get used to the idea of sharing my space, my house, even my daily routine, with a stranger, I also had to do it with someone who happened to be my mom's flesh and blood. I hoped we could eventually become close, but I knew it would take time, lots of time. We spent the first few weeks simply existing under the same roof, to polite, to cautious. There were stilted conversations over breakfast, awkward nods in the hallway. I watched him from afar, trying to piece together the puzzle that was Aiden. He was a year older than me, quiet, with an intensity about him that both intrigued and intimidated me. One day while exploring my mom's attic, I stumbled upon a box filled with my childhood treasures. Among the old Barbies and Legos, I found a dusty guitar. On a whim, I brought it downstairs. Coincidentally, Aiden was in the kitchen making himself a sandwich. "Do you play?" I asked, gesturing towards the instrument. He glanced at it briefly, a little, he replied, returning to his sandwich. I tuned the guitar and strummed a few chords. The sound echoed in the vast space, unfamiliar yet strangely comforting. "You want to learn?" I asked, turning to him. He nodded slowly, and that's how it started, not with a bang, but with a whisper. We began taking turns in the evenings, each of us sharing a bit of ourselves through music. He showed me chords I hadn't known existed, taught me songs that became our own secret language. As the weeks passed, our relationship changed. It started small, late-night study sessions at the dining table, his hand brushing against mine as he passed the notebook. The way he would linger in the doorway of my room, asking if I wanted a snack, even when it was obvious he had already eaten. He wasn't just being polite, he was paying attention to me. Then came the day that truly changed everything. I was homesick with the flu, huddled on the couch wrapped in a blanket. Mom was at work and Aiden was supposed to be at school. Yet there he was, standing in my living room holding a steaming mug. "Mom asked me to bring this to you," he said softly, his eyes full of concern. "You don't have to come in if you don't want me to," he added, sensing my hesitation. I shook my head, surprised by the lump in my throat. Before I could speak, he was by my side, handing me the mug. Our fingers brushed and a jolt ran through me, making me dizzy. "Thank you," I managed, surprised by my own voice. The days following that were a blur of coughs and tissues until one evening when the power went out during a storm. I was startled by the sudden darkness and I quickly grabbed a flashlight. Then I heard footsteps coming down the stairs. "Aiden," I called out, my voice echoing in the dark. He was at the bottom of the stairs now, his presence a silhouette against the faint light coming in from the windows. "Guess it's just us against the thunder," he said, his voice unusually loud in the darkness. I laughed, a shaky sound. "It was just a storm," I told myself. Don't read into it. But still, I found myself holding onto his arm as we made our way to the living room, our bodies seeking solace in the sheer darkness. Once inside, he flicked on his flashlight and handed it to me, a silent question in his eyes. I shook my head, unable to speak. I was speechless. So he sat down on the couch and I found myself falling into the seat beside him. Suddenly, it was just as against the world. Hours passed, filled with stories and laughter, secrets whispered and dreams shared. The storm outside raged on, but in that moment, I felt a warmth between us that no thunder could shake. As the days grew longer and warmer, so did the feeling between Aiden and me. It started subtly, a lingering touch, a shared glance. But as the weeks passed, it became impossible to ignore. We began spending more time together, exploring hidden trails in the woods near our house, biking through the park, sharing headphones while listening to music. Each moment was filled with a nervous energy, a connection that neither of us understood. One evening, after a particularly intense study session, I found myself walking home with Aiden. We stopped at our usual spot, the old oak tree where our paths diverged. I turned to him, my heart pounding, and blurted out, "I can't keep doing this." "I like you." He froze, his eyes wide with surprise. "What?" I whispered, regretting my sudden confession. Was this too much? Too soon? I'm sorry. I didn't mean to, I started, but he cut me off by taking my hands in his. His touch sent shivers down my spine. "Don't apologize," he said, his voice husky. "I like you too." And in that moment, the weight of those words hit me. This was real. This was happening. I had a stepbrother who liked me back. The next few weeks were a whirlwind. We confessed our feelings to each other, sneaking in kisses whenever we could, hiding in my room, sharing secrets and dreams. It was magical. For the first time, I felt like I truly belonged somewhere. I had someone who understood me, who loved me for who I was. But as the summer drew to a close, reality started to creep in. The secret we'd been hiding couldn't stay buried forever. One Saturday afternoon, our parents went out for dinner, leaving the house to us. We decided to watch a movie together. Halfway through, I realized I wasn't paying attention to the screen at all. My eyes kept darting to him, the way his arms stretched along the couch behind me, the way his breathing slowed when our shoulders touched. I shifted, nervous, but he didn't move away. Instead, his fingers brushed mine on the couch. My chest tightened. I should have pulled back. "I didn't, Aiden," I whispered. He turned to me, his eyes searching, almost afraid. "I know this is wrong," he said quietly, "but I can't stop how I feel about you." The words hung heavy in the air. My heart pounded as I stared at him, torn between fear and desire. Finally, I admitted, "I feel it too." That was all it took. His hand found mine, firm and certain. The movie played on, forgotten. He leaned closer, his lips trembling as they brushed against mine in the softest kiss, hesitant, fragile, but real. The world didn't end, the house didn't collapse. It was just us, breathing in the silence, hearts racing as if we had just crossed the most forbidden line. After that night, nothing was the same. We were careful, cautious around our parents, but in stolen moments, we let our feelings bloom. Secret smiles across the dinner table, late-night whispers through half-open doors. And when no one was watching, a hand held longer than necessary, a kiss shared in the shadows. It wasn't easy. Sometimes I lay awake, wondering if it was love or just the thrill of what we weren't supposed to have. But every time he looked at me, every time he touched me like I was the only person in his world, I knew it was real. This is just a little taste of their story. How will their relationship evolve? Will they be able to keep their relationship a secret? Or will their parents find out? Stay tuned to find out what happens next in this exciting gay love story. If you enjoyed this story, please leave a comment below. Your feedback is very important to us and helps us create more great content. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss out on any of our amazing stories. Thank you for watching and see you next time.